Something was wrong when I noticed that nothing inside me reacted. Not fear, not anger, not even confusion. Just a flat recognition, like reading a line of text I had already memorized. That was the moment I understood I had been living several steps behind my own life. That whatever was happening to me had started long before I noticed it. That the danger was not the event itself, it was my delay. How does a person even end up here? I have asked myself that without drama, without blame. The answer is not shocking. That is what makes it harder to accept. At the beginning, everything looked normal. Better than normal, actually. She was calm, attentive, careful with words. People like to imagine harm arriving loudly, with raised voices, with force. This did not. It arrived with structure, with consideration, with what looked like respect. I was relieved, not excited, relieved. That should have been the first sign. But I did not react to that either. I had come from noise, from unpredictability, from situations where you stayed alert because you had to. So when something felt stable, I leaned into it. I relaxed. I stopped checking myself. That is how the door stays open. She asked questions that felt thoughtful, about my work, about my routines, about how I made decisions. I told myself this was intimacy. I told myself this was maturity. I did not notice that I was answering everything. I did not notice how quickly my explanations became justifications. Nothing was demanded at first. Nothing was taken. There was only alignment. We liked the same pace, the same evenings, the same silences. When I hesitated, she waited. That felt safe. When I spoke carefully, she listened closely. That felt respectful. I did not realize that I was the only one adjusting. That awareness came much later. Too late to feel sharp. Too late to feel useful. The changes were small. They always are. I stopped mentioning certain thoughts because they slowed the conversation. I delayed opinions because they seemed unnecessary. I chose ease over precision. Not because she asked, because it felt smoother. I told myself this was what adults do. They simplify. They choose harmony. There was no moment where I thought I was losing myself. That is a myth people tell after the fact. What I felt was efficiency. Life worked better when I did not complicate things. When she disagreed, it was gentle, almost apologetic. She would say she understood my point, then add a small correction, a suggestion. I would accept it because it sounded reasonable, because it cost me nothing, because reacting felt excessive. That pattern repeated, not daily, not obviously, just often enough to establish rhythm. I started checking my reactions before expressing them, filtering them for usefulness, for calm. That felt like growth. The problem with delayed reactions is that they teach you to mistrust immediacy. You learn to wait before feeling, before responding, before deciding if something matters. By the time you ask yourself whether something crossed a line, the line has already moved. I noticed the first real tension months in, not during a conflict, during a quiet moment. She asked me why I needed something, not in an accusatory way, in a curious one. I explained. She listened. Then she asked again, differently. That was new. I explained again, more carefully. She nodded. The conversation moved on, but something stayed with me. A sense that my reasons were being measured, evaluated. I told myself I was imagining it. I had no proof, and I did not want to create problems where none existed. That was my default response, to wait. I waited for clarity, for a clearer signal, for something undeniable. What I did not understand then was that clarity does not announce itself. It accumulates quietly. In hindsight, small boundaries dissolved, not removed, just softened. I started explaining my schedule more than before, not because I was asked to, because it seemed considerate. I noticed she remembered everything I said. Dates, preferences, small inconsistencies. I admired that. I did not ask myself why it felt like being monitored. That reaction came later, much later. When she was unhappy, she never accused. She withdrew. Silence is efficient. It does not argue. It waits. I filled it. I adjusted tone. I adjusted timing. I adjusted expectations. Not out of fear, out of logic. It made sense to reduce friction. I became very good at predicting her reactions, at avoiding discomfort. That is where something inside me began to thin. I still felt like myself, but slightly delayed, like sound reaching you a moment after the image. The midpoint did not arrive as a crisis. It arrived as exhaustion. One day I realized I was tired without knowing why. Not physically, internally. Decisions felt heavier. Words required more preparation. I noticed I was rehearsing conversations that had not happened, correcting myself in advance. That is when the question appeared, why am I doing this? I did not panic. I did not confront her. I observed. And what I saw was not cruelty, not manipulation in the way people imagine it. I saw compatibility that had become asymmetrical, a system where my flexibility compensated for her certainty. She was not forcing me. She was not threatening me. I was allowing the structure because it felt stable. That realization hurt more than any accusation would have. There was no villain, no clear injustice, just a pattern I had accepted because it did not hurt at first. When I finally noticed the cost was already integrated. My reactions came late, always late. By the time I felt discomfort, I was already explaining it away. By the time I felt anger, it felt inappropriate, immature. So I swallowed it. That became my skill. One evening, she said something that crossed a line I had not drawn clearly. I felt it, briefly. Then the delay happened. I analyzed tone, context, intent. By the time I finished understanding why it bothered me, the moment was gone. She was calm. The evening continued. I said nothing. That was the internal break. Not because of what she said, but because I recognized the pattern in real time and still did not act. I understood then that awareness does not equal change. Knowing what is happening does not stop it. I saw myself choosing silence, choosing delay, and I understood why. Immediate reaction requires certainty. Delayed reaction allows negotiation. I had built my life around negotiation. The pain did not come as drama. It came as clarity, a quiet understanding that I had participated fully, intelligently, willingly. I was not deceived. I was not trapped. I was comfortable. That is the part people do not like to hear. When things ended, it was orderly. No explosion. No final truth revealed. We spoke like adults. We agreed on reasons. I accepted them quickly. Only later did the reactions arrive. In fragments. Out of order. A thought while walking. A sentence remembered differently. Anger that arrived too late to be useful. Sadness without a target. I did not try to reclaim anything. I did not rewrite the story to make myself innocent. I learned something colder. If you delay your reactions long enough, life will make choices for you. Quietly, efficiently, and you will recognize them only after they are complete. That is not tragedy. That is adulthood without attention. I live differently now. Not louder, not harder, just sooner. I do not wait to see if my discomfort is justified. I note it. I do not optimize harmony at the expense of presence. Sometimes I am wrong. That is acceptable. What is not acceptable is absence disguised as patience. This was not about what she did. There is nothing to list. This was about why I allowed it, and how easy it was. If you stayed until the end, I appreciate you. Like the video and subscribe if you want to hear more stories like this.